guys, the Super Review Show for another episode of Why You Should Listen To. This is the show where I break down artists and some of their albums that I think you guys should just definitely check out regardless of what you think of them. The music is just that good. You should definitely check these artists out. And here we are today talking about, as the title of this video suggests, Simple Minds. Simple Minds is one of those bands in the 80s that everyone knows them for Don't You Forget About Me from Breakfast Club, and that's really it. I have become more and more of a Simple Minds fan over the past few months or so because I mentioned on our Mixed Bag show that they actually have an album. They released their most recent album, Walk Between Worlds, came out in 2018. And I've been digging into their catalog more and more. You want to talk about underrated bands that have been doing it so well for so long? Simple Minds is one of them, guys. I do have one of their albums right here. I'm going to show it to you in a sec. But let me just preface by what I'm saying is this. Simple Minds is a really solid band. Everyone really knows them for Don't You Forget About Me from the Breakfast Club soundtrack, as I said. But at the same time, they have so many other great hits, especially on their album Once Upon a Time, which I'm going to bring up right here. Ha-ha! See what I did there? Simple Minds, Once Upon a Time. This is the only album I have by them on vinyl. This is the only one I have. But Once Upon a Time, great song. All the Things She Said, great song. Ghost Dancing, really underrated track. Alive and Kicking, really great track. Oh Jungle Land, I Wish You Were Here, Sanctify Yourself, and Come a Long Way. This is one of the biggest albums of the 80s. This is not the deluxe version of Don't You Forget About Me on it, but I'm like, whatever. I like this album in general. But, man, you want to talk about underrated and underappreciated. And in the United States, they're really only known for Don't You Forget About Me, which is very sad. You should definitely open up to the other material as well. Especially, someone commented on one of our videos recently about like their Simple Minds Walk Between Worlds. It is from Spain, I think. Shout out to whoever you are. But like they're a band that has been going really. Jim Kerr from Simple Minds has been going really well with this band for a long time. They've had different members here and there, but they still play the big hits, and they'll still tour the U.S. because we are in the U.S. For those who don't know. But Simple Minds is a great band. They are so great, and they have so many other hits outside of Don't You Forget About Me. There's like 2 or 3 on this one album alone. Once Upon a Time, Alive and Kicking, All the Things She Said. Those are 3 other huge hits by Simple Minds. I'm surprised that if you go on Spotify, not many people are going to listen to their other songs outside of Don't You Forget About Me, because Don't You Forget About Me was their number 1 hit. And that just shows you how number 1 hit can be like their only thing they're known for. Whereas they have plenty of other great songs, like the stuff off Walk Between Worlds. I cannot stop listening to that record. Jim Kerr, and if you're out there, I love that record. That record is really good. Alive and Kicking, off this record, All the Things She Said. Like I said, there are so many other great songs by this band. You just have to check them out. If you want to get to know if you want like a new wave sounding band, but in a modern context that's under the radar, Simple Minds is one of those bands you should check out. All of their stuff, no matter what it is. Just tap on an album and go. You might be hooked on it like I am. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I was like, let me check out this album, Walk Between Worlds. And sure enough, I'm like, oh my God, Walk Between Worlds. It's a great record. It's under the radar. What's going on? I had this conversation with a friend of mine the other day. I said, check out this album right now. You're not going to regret it. You've actually seen him on our show. He's our video game correspondent guy. But Andrew, shout out. We love you. But I sent him a text message. I said, Andrew, check out this record. He's like, who is Simple Minds? I said, and then I sent him Don't You Forget About Me. He's like, oh, it's them. That's how far this band is removed from the public consciousness. This album, tons of other Simple Minds records out there, but they're only known for Don't You Forget About Me, in the U.S. at least. Whereas around the world, in other parts of Europe, I'm sure, they're known for countless other songs as well. In the UK, in France, Germany, wherever. I'm a firm believer in Simple Minds, and I really love the material. But that just shows you, and he listened to it afterwards, like, oh, that's a really good record. It sounded like a modern day take on the new wave synth sound, but with modern production. That's what that album Walk Between Worlds is. So, long story short, if you have not gotten on the Simple Minds bandwagon, check out Simple Minds. They have so many other great songs outside of Once Upon a Time, outside of their most recent release. I can't even think of some that I've already listened to that are just that good. So bottom line, they're much more than Don't You Forget About Me. So that's why I think you guys should listen to Simple Minds. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, listening, like, comment, subscribe, whatever you got to do. But for all of your why you should listen to videos and many more, keep it locked on the Super Review Show. The J-Man is off to rock. We'll see you guys later. And don't you forget about us.